Hey, this is Matthew Keene. I'd like to discuss my Type 2 build of Sly using the Zendikar Type 2. Let's say you can see there I'm packing 24 lands, which might be a high land count, but I'll explain that with the deck itself. My curve basically goes up to 4, with Elemental Appeal being the biggest, not counting Earthquakes. Yeah, it performed 4-1 for me. The only match I lost, I'm gonna blame on shuffling issues. A guy named Tran beat me just straight up.
Fucking Tran.
Fucking Tran. But in the back of my head, I just got there, barely shuffled my deck, and I drew all lands or no lands.
All right.
But throughout the rest of the turn, went really well.
What did you like about your deck the most?
I loved the fact that in a straight up race, it won every game. And if you look at the Type 2 right now, it's Jund. 50-60% of every metagame you see is going to be Jund in the top 8.
Right.
A lot of times against Jund, because I faced, I think, 2 Jund decks at the FNM, that it was a straight up race, and they lost every time, and I like that about it, because they're not going to block a Ball Lightning with their Putrid Leech.
Okay.
Instead, they're going to attack me back, lose 2 life, and not have any blockers up, which I excelled at.
What didn't you like? Like, what did you find was your least favorite card?
Not that I didn't like it, but it didn't work like I wanted to do Earthquake. Earthquake never did what I wanted to do, because the creatures were, honestly, I went against a lot of stags, a lot of leeches, and oftentimes I already had answers to them. There was no massive horde deck I went against that Earthquake would have been valuable, and even if it did, they would have been able to Brave the Elements me or have the Monument out or have flying, unfortunately.
You didn't find that there was like an X spell in your deck that worked out at the end there?
Banefire on the sideboard decided in every game.
Okay.
Honestly.
All right.
It worked out perfectly.
So we'd probably swap out the Baneslayers for the Earthquakes in the main?
If I played another FNM, I'd take out the Earthquakes, switch them to the side, bring in Banefires.
Okay, I like that. What about the GOP? A lot of people at the Pro Tour were saying he was pretty bad in Zoo, so I don't know.
In Zoo, maybe. I'm going to disagree. In Mono Red, he was excellent. He kind of fits the themes of things that are not beneficial to block. There's no positive EV blocking this guy, mainly because the first strike and landfall can get ridiculous. And Evan Irwin talked about the Magic Christmas Land scenarios, and with this deck, it's not hard to do. The only reason I don't have 8 fetches is because I personally just don't have 8 fetches. If the deck, this would be a fetch. But he worked out every time I played him. He got in for 5 damage, which is exactly what Keldon Marauders did in previous red decks. And so he did the job for his mana cost. I wouldn't change a thing about it. Goblin Guide is apparently another controversial card, so if I read in the forums, a lot of people think the card advantage isn't worth it. I went against I got him first turn against Bill, which was round 5 at the FNM. Okay. I attacked him first turn, I got through the damage, and when he flipped up a land every time, but he discarded a land every time too. And it always seemed to work out in my favor. I wouldn't care if you got, because however many cards you have in your hand doesn't really matter with your life total to a degree.
Right.
Another thing I really was interested in, Valakut.
Valakut, yeah, he seems to bring the whole thing together.
He really did. When I was going against Tran in round 1, I'm going against a 5-color control deck. And thanks to this, I survived a Cruel Ultimatum. Sly versus 5-color deck. They get Cruel Ultimatum, I should lose. No, I got him down to 1 instead.
Wow.
So it really worked out in that way.
Okay. Now let's talk about the sideboard you got going on here.
Okay. Again, with the sideboard, I was using previous Type 2 experience, and that was a fault. You see Fallouts, 1 Earthquake. Again, there was nothing that I needed to follow Earthquake. There was no Weenie Hordes, nothing that really worked, because everything... I can kill a Bloodbraid Elf.
Yeah.
Maybe. That's about it. I got 8 cards dedicated to 1 card, Baneslayer Angel. Mono Red has no way to deal with her, and she's actually a nightmare for a lot of decks.
See Magma Rift in there. It's kind of an interesting choice.
Yeah, it's a terrible card. I had a couple ideas of how to resolve her, and I figured this would always do what it says on the card. I had, what was it? Seismic Strike, the 3 mana, deal damage equal to the mountains. And then another idea I had was Soul's Fire, which was the power... deal damage equal power.
Get off Baneslayer or something.
I had Shrines with 7 1s and 4 4s, so I should have been able to hit it. Ideally, even a GOP with 1 of 12 lands in the deck.
Right.
Could have been able to do it, but I need 6 or 7 mana, and I'd have to have 3 cards in hand to accomplish it every time, so I just thought Magma Rift did what it said every time. But I actually didn't go against any Baneslayers all day.
That must be nice.
Yeah, it was. But it's FNM, so it doesn't really matter.
All right. Well, that's the red deck from Matt.
Yep.
So